Do you want me to say something beginning to like?
To just have a talk.
We're just gonna have a talk.
This is gonna happen.
Okay. Well, then I'm gonna start talking.
Okay.
Well, first, thank you very much for being willing
My
to,
pleasure.
yeah,
Really, my pleasure.
have this interview with us. I'm sure many people in China will be interested to hear what you have to say. So you came to China in 2014, and I think people would be very curious to know what impressions you had of the people you worked with and what you saw in China.
Yes. I didn't have much chance to see China. You know, I just flew into the center and get involved with, you know, with the work and the students. So I have very little impression to say except that what the people I met were very, I mean, touched me how they have manners, they have polite, they have respect, they have honoring, manners. And manners nowadays are disappearing. You know, people are acting in a very bad ways and they think they're free. I do anything I want. But manners means virtue, respect. Really, manners come from essence. The more manners, the more you have behavior, you shape the ego better, the more you connect to your spirit, to your essence. So I was touched by how, you know, how that was so normal. You know. And it touched me the most how the students were so awake, curious. They want to know. They did not come hypnotized, you know. What guru say anything? No, they ask, they question, they think, they reflect, they share. So I felt I am with the generation that's really going to bring lots of light and consciousness to China. China now to me is awakening from long years of I don't know, oppression, abuse, you know, so much happened to them, you know, and now they are awakening. But China is also a very, very ancient nation. You know, really the I don't know, the mother, really, of humanity, the cradle also of so many civilizations. Before civilization happened in many countries, they were happening in China. You know, thousands and thousands of years, the Taoists, the nation itself, culture. So I felt like that is there, manifesting now in this. I just hope that the new generation honor, that they don't get so much taken by the West. You know, the West has good things like civilization, efficiency, can make things living, but in terms of spirit, soul, richness, roots, they don't have much. You know, sorry to say, but it's true. America is the least. America doesn't have much. I live in America and I work in America, but they really don't have these roots. And the result now is that it became very materialistic. They misuse the resources, the earth, so they are damaging the earth, the waters themselves, you know, and becoming like a McDonald's culture. Really, I pray from the depth of my heart, from the depth of my soul, for the Chinese that are coming now into power and money and all of this, they don't lose the roots that they have. If they can bring the richness of their culture, let go of the things that are not useful, but not totally be taken by the West, then I think we will have great treasure opening in China. Great treasure, because you have richness. You have richness. And the last thing is that I just love how creative they are with food. I love food. They do food. And the beautiful thing, which I want to emphasize, that in our age now, food has become a very big thing. What to eat, what not to eat, the combination of food, the protein, the supplements, all of those things. And in China, I noticed that the food, the meals have all the elements. It's not like you have just a hamburger, or steak, but you don't have the vegetables, or you don't have so, and some of the meals are very well, the elements were very well organized. So you don't mix this with this, because if you mix this with this is not good, but if you mix this with this is good. So there is ancient knowledge, which is very important about diet, about supplement, about all of these health. I hope the Chinese don't make it McDonald's. I hope the Chinese preserve this knowledge, study it, because it's the Tao, it's also the spirit, the way of the spirit. It's very important. I enjoyed it.
Oh, wonderful. Did you get the sense that the Diamond Logos teaching can be of particular benefit to Chinese people in a certain way?
I mean, without prejudice, I think the Diamond Logos is the best around. I think the Diamond Logos is not just a spiritual teaching, it's a technique, it's a tool, to bring the treasure that's hidden inside. So in the Chinese soul, in the Chinese tradition, culture, there are many treasures. And if we just bring new therapies, excitement and energy and up and down and all of those things, it's good to liberate a little, but does not reach deep to liberate the richness of essence and feeling and meaning. So I hope that the students who are coming to the work look deeper than just release, than just wanting to be free, than the old culture is bad and I want to be, modern. It's okay to bring modern, but the Diamond Logos goes not just to the energies. Yes, it deals with releasing energies, Shakti, Kundalini, Chi, Prana. It releases those things. It also helps the mind be more awake, more aware to our time, so it brings consciousness to modern time. But it also touches something much more deeper than energies, the source of energies. I always think of the thing as like, the oil lamp.
Yeah.
There's the oil lamp, there's oil, and there is the wick, then there is the flame. The flame is where there's light and energy and all of that. That's more Shakti, Kundalini, colors and light and excitement. Then the wick, where the oil begin to go up and become more light, that's more like the beginning of essence.
Okay.
This gives more energy to the light, to the flame to happen. But then there is the oil. And the oil, if you have the oil, you can make flame, you can make light, you can make creative thinking. So it will be so much important to reach the oil and not just to go high. Because from the oil come chi and prana and all of those things come from oil. This oil is essence. And then deeper than the oil, than the essential state, is the source, is the Tao, the Tao itself. From Tao comes essence, and from essence comes light and energies and creativity. So I hope that the Chinese, as they gain the new approaches, to be careful that some of those approaches and exercises and energies apply to the West, not to the East. Because the structure, personality structure, and body structure of the Western need different exercises than the Eastern. The Eastern armoring and tensions and formation, if you apply the Western, it might block it. For example, you might need bioenergetics for America, because they're armoring, so they need to jump and scream and all of these things. But for Chinese, might need Tai Chi. The same principle, but their body armoring is not so tight. So to be careful not to apply this technique on this technique. Maybe through Tai Chi, Qigong, they can get gold essence, they can get silver essence. But maybe in America, through jumping and screaming, they can get, red essence or gold essence. So the diamond logos work brings the treasure within each person, each nation. Then the soul of the individuals, those individuals, use it the way they need it.
Mm.
You know, the way you need essence in America is different from the way you need it in the Middle East, is different from you need it in China.
Mm.
So the diamond logos allows you to have the resources.
Mm.
Then how to apply it is different for every nation.
Mm.
So it is not like a path by itself, It is only a tool to help you get your essence. Then you choose your path. You want to be Buddhist, you want to be doctor, you want to be dancer, you want to be healer. It gives you the powers that you need to bring your blessings.
Mm.
While other systems make you, okay, be Buddhist and be Buddhist. But maybe I don't want to be Buddhist this time. Maybe I don't want to be Sufi this time. Really, maybe I want to be a musician.
Mm.
And maybe I have the spirit to, maybe I was a musician before and now I incarnate and I want to revive the Chinese music.
Mm.
I am Chinese. And in my spirit is full of music. So the diamond logos doesn't say be Buddhist or be Sufi and practice that. Says bring your treasure, and if your blessings and essence gonna come through music, reviving the Chinese music, bring it.
Mm.
So that's why the diamond logos can be of use to any domain it goes to bring the skills, the blessings of the individuals and the Sangha they live in, the community they live in. So in my mind, it's different from, even though it's a lineage,
Mhm.
because it has system and gradation, how to go, very well organized, but it aims at freeing the individuals to bring their blessings and to harmonize with the Sangha, but not to put them in any system. If you're like Chinese and you want to be Sufi, you can be. If you are a Sufi and want to be Zen, I wanted to be Zen and I wanted to be Buddhist, says okay, enjoy it, And then after you enjoy it, you change. So it gives a lot of freedom.
Okay.
And also because it's a new age thinking. It can help the Chinese come into the new age, because they were under so much repression before. Now they're coming more open and the government more open and all of this. And I pray for the government not to lose the Chinese roots.
Mhm.
Yes, bring wealth, bring power, but let it be rooted in the richness of being, not in just more cars and more, things like that. So I lost that track. That this new age teaching, it will also help the Chinese understand the modern world.
Mm.
What are the important aspects of it, and what are the fake things that they don't need.
Mm.
They don't have to buy everything. I was born in Kuwait, and when I was born in the 40s, Kuwait was like a holy city.
Mm.
People were full of love, compassion, care. We were very poor. There was no oil. The houses were made of mud, but the souls were so rich.
Mm.
We really loved, we really got contented. Sometimes we don't have food to have dinner. Maybe if we're lucky, a little piece of bread. But we all sleep, my mother, my father, we all sleep contented because we have each other.
Mm.
We have the love, we have the care. And that was like gold in the air. So much richness, so much warmth, so much humanness. Now, it broke my heart to see in the 60s, 50s, oil came, people got so rich, so much money. And now they lose the goldenness of the heart, the compassion of the soul, the right action in the world, you know, and they're just after what can they buy, you know, Gucci, Mochi, or all of those, you know, things, you know, and lost the Holy Spirit, the Tao. They lost it, and I left Kuwait because of that. It's so painful. And I came to America. And America, I came in the 60s, and still there was good spirit among Americans. Goodness, care, honesty, doing the right job, all of the virtues that make the soul blossom, make the mind open, make the human connection stable. I see the same thing now happen to America. Kuwait, I feel sad because they lost it, except very few. America also lost that. Now they are just so materialistically lost, like hungry ghosts, you know. So I pray that China, the leaders and the new generation look and be selective. What to take and what not to take. So the Diamond Logos will help them see what is beautiful about the new culture. We have iPhones, we have, you know, Buddha didn't have iPhone, you know, Muhammad didn't have iPhone, but we have iPhone, all of those things. But there are so many things that are waste that we really need to avoid. I pray from the depth of my heart for China to be protected from the temptation of this material world. It's good to develop, but it's good also to preserve the Tao. China has knowledge, depth. The Taoist masters know the journey of essence. They know it, they call it differently. In fact, I was, you know, that when we were developing essence, one of the quality that develops, we call it personal essence, or the pearl. You know? It's just a feeling of fullness, relaxation, ease, connection with yourself, connection with other. You know, it's a good quality. The Taoists, they know about the pearl long time ago, and they use it, in fact, for healing. They say, go to the, for example, the liver, and have the pearl go in the liver, and suck all the poison out of the liver, and then send it into space to dissolve.
Wow.
So they were not saying, oh, your personal essence, you like me, you don't like me, am I real, am I not? That's good, developing your sense of self, but also that essence is the healing of nations. Essence is the healing of all agents. Red essence, energy of vitality and strength and aliveness, but also red essence take away the feeling of depression, the feeling of weakness, the feeling of tiredness. You feel more energized, your body is stronger, you know. So essence is also the healing of mental things, psychological things, physical things, spiritual things. Essence is our original creation. How we were created from those precious elements. And if they flow in the body, that's why the Taoist and the Qigong, they are body-oriented. Movement, sensing, essence has to mix with body. Then you have all the kind of health you seek.
Wonderful. You've already mentioned Taoism, Buddhism a few times.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about how the Diamond Logos might be related to those traditions? Because those are familiar traditions for Chinese people.
The Diamond Logos, as I said, is a beautiful jewel, knowledge. But it is very also, I mean, if you study it, you see this is like so much, you know. But in my understanding, only is a little tool. Compared to the richness of Buddhism, we just see little. Compared to the richness of Taoism, we see very little. Compared to the richness of Sufism, to the richness of Christianity, we really see very little. We took the most basic jewels in those traditions to help us open up, heal our personality and ego, but then after that you open to the bigger treasure. You know, Buddhism is so full of richnesses of the hidden domains and dimensions, and Taoism, the different, you know, like skills like Taoism talk about, for example, the development of the immortal body.
Mm.
You know, this is a beautiful knowledge, but the Diamond Logos doesn't focus on developing it. We focus on finding it, connecting to it, and developing it. So when I look into those lineages, they are really incredible how much treasure is there and needs the new generation to bring it.
Okay.
You know? Like Sufism, I grew up in Kuwait, and Kuwait is Islamic, and supposedly I should know about Sufism. I did not know anything about Sufism. I thought Sufis are crazy. Probably now many in the Chinese young generation think Taoists are crazy, or monks, or and I forget about it. I went to America. I meet this beautiful man, and he is Jewish, teaching a Muslim about Sufism. Wow, amazing time we are in.
Yeah.
And I opened my heart and mind to see, wow, the Sufis have depth of richness that I couldn't see. So little by little, I started to bring the treasure. Not that the religion and the teaching, you know, like the Lataif, right? Green, yellow, all of this, the Sufi have this knowledge. So I brought it in modern time, in modern terminology. How is it related to psychology? How is it related to child development and body? But before it was just mystical, mysterious, you know, and most young generation go away from it. The same thing is waiting for the Chinese in Taoism and Buddhism, treasures. Get your mind, objective mind, what we call diamond body, you know, and begin to look at those jewels. Take away the old teaching that's so hard. I cannot read Sufism. It's so written, old-fashioned. I have to go be very good in language and in these things to understand it. But then when I understand it, I can bring it in a very simple way, modern way. So some of the teaching in Buddhism, some of the teaching in Sufism, I took the treasures there and translated in modern time. But the treasure was there. So if the new generation apply the gift of the work, which is the diamond body, focus, knowledge, clarity, objectivity, and then bring us the treasure that's hidden in this culture. So much is waiting there. You know, in my lifetime, I'm limited, I'm alone, I can bring very little. But what came is beautiful, but it will help the others to bring their treasure.
So you think that Diamond Logos maybe could help Chinese people go and really go deeper into their own traditions.
Exactly.
And discover the real beauty that's there, and the
Yes.
strength and all the
Yes.
resources that are there.
Yes, the culture itself, the lineages themselves. Each lineage has a treasure that if we really look at it, we can bring it. Golden essence, diamond essence, crystal essence, the Tao itself, the different ways and streams of the Tao. How does it flow? How do you go with it? All is waiting. So the Diamond Logos is more like giving you the key that begin to open the treasures.
Okay.
So it doesn't have all those treasures. These are immense. You know, I see a little bit of here, a little bit of here, and it touches my heart to see, my God, there's so much there. You know, I wish the different cultures, the different new generation, heal and open and get their essence, but also bring with them the richness of the human culture. Sooner or later, the world is becoming one big village, one big, land. But we need arms and legs and hands and feet and heart and brain, and the different culture have different pieces of those. Putting them all together bring the human, the glory of the human being. And the work is about that, the glory of the human being. But every nation has treasures, has lineages. So I really encourage those students to benefit for themselves, to come to New Age and enjoy and all of those things, but also not to push away the treasures that are embedded deep in their unconscious. They're born with it. even if they don't believe it, it's in the DNA.
Mm.
And someday the DNA will open and say, wow, I have diamond in my DNA.
Yeah.
I have the Tao there.
Wow.
It's really beautiful way.
I think a lot of Chinese people feel that depth in their culture.
Yes.
But then they're pushed so hard now by society develops so fast.
Yes.
You've got to go out and make money, property prices are going up, you've got to buy a house now,
Yeah.
and there's this huge pressure to
Yeah.
go in the material direction.
Yes, yes, yes,
Do you have any advice on how people can try to find that balance, to live in the world, but also continue to look for that inner richness?
It's a big thing. Now, like, people are tipsy, drunkard a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
I think it depends on us, this generation, you know, like, I think the government is changing, it's more upgrading, you know. I hope they don't go to extreme of competing with America and all of those things, you know. I hope the new generation, you know, now it's like, where is the car? Where is the... After they get over the car, you know,
Yeah.
then they not to forget that there is more. So I don't expect the change to happen quickly, but slowly to preserve those treasures. Education, little bit, practices what we do is a little bit, you know. The temptation with the time is very powerful, very powerful. Not to be discouraged, you know, but also not to give up completely, to say, okay, we can bring more, we can think more, and I think people who come to the work will have much more chance, whether this work or other work, spiritual awakening, will have much more chance in helping the society. Like, I was in Kuwait and I wanted to like go back to Kuwait and be the Minister of Education, to change the whole education system. I became teacher therapist, I couldn't go back, you know, and many of my friends, my age, who were also pioneers, enjoyed the changes, but also tried to preserve the values, you know, generosity, kindness, love, but it started to disappear because the newer generation, all they think of is the car and the travel and, you know, all of those things. So when in my heart and my soul, thank God, there came a deep love for this, for being, for the spirit, for healing, for evolution, you know, and I realized I could do different than being Minister of Education. I can be in this field. And the more I was in it, and I go to Kuwait, my friends, that generation, began to look and see I have something they don't. They got the money, they got the power, they are in strong competition, you know, with each other, and this one want to be the top, and this one want to be, and they began to see that they began to hurt each other. Their mothers were really suffering. My grandfather, between 66 to 68, the money came so much, strong, like in China now, coming so much, and older generation who were golden, really precious, you know, try to hold their sons, like, don't compete so much, don't go for big positions and money, don't lose your heart, don't lose your spirit. This is material. You cannot take it with you to the graveyard. You will leave everything, your car, your money, your yen, your whatever, everything to leave. But the younger generation were drunkard by power, by competition. They wouldn't listen. Between 66 to 68, I was in America. Every week they send me, this person who was a grandparent died. One after the other started to leave. They couldn't take the pain of the precious fabric of love and life being cut off, and seeing their sons and the friends of their sons fighting and competing, you know, against each other. So much pain happened. I pray for the Chinese, the young generation, the government, to honor the elders. The old style changes a little bit, but the richness that they have is very important. not to lose, really not to lose. When those friends of mine saw what I have, they would come ask me to give them sessions. The Minister of Finance and
Wow.
big shot. Please breathe, let me breathe. Let me do bioenergetics.
Yeah.
And they made a group. We made a group, first group, big shots sitting meditating, was so nice. Then their wives started feeling their husbands are better. Okay, we come, So it was a group. I hope this generation who is listening to this and going in the way to remember by them transforming and changing how it will affect the consciousness around. Really, when I went to Kuwait, I was not after money. I was just sitting, and people were laughing. Oh, you're becoming yogi. You're becoming Buddhist sitting, Come to the market, we make money.
Yeah.
All of those things. But I was afraid. They said, no, I just want to be the spirit. And by the time they began to see there is something more precious, They come to me, those rich guys, saying, now I have millions in Swiss banks. I never see it. All I get a paper say you have million. And I worry about it. So they worry. They're anxious. So the material realm, if you don't know how to do it, you get disease. Psychological disease, neurosis, psychosis, So I pray for the Chinese to hear this, not to go too far. Maybe in the beginning they go a little bit, then they come back. Really to come back, because these are the human beings nowadays are disappearing. We have less and less humans on earth. So much personalities, so much alien, so much things, and the human is so rare. And when you really meet a human being and feel the human essence, this is the real richness. This is the real meaning. This is the grace and harmony with the Tao, with the universe. The whole existence is your home. The whole universe is your home. Yes, maybe you need a little car, but you need an inner vehicle inside, maybe a chandelier or a stupa. You travel to the end of the universe in consciousness. All the universe is under your hand, really I used to dream maybe a UFO will come and take me. Now I feel UFO is old-fashioned. I don't want UFO. I want to sit and meditate and be in the light,
Wow.
So everything changes, the material, the perception. So most important touches my heart is that I hope those students realize how much treasure is in their perineum, in their sacrum, in their adrenal gland, in their lower centers, full of tradition, in the DNA, in the nucleus of the cells, full of printed knowledges. The DNA can recompose. You can compose it this way, you can compose it that way, according to how you program it. And in that culture, there is depth programming, regardless of how the political time came, whether communism or drugs or whatever. That is not the deepest. The deepest is the Tao. The masters developed and transmitted blessings that goes to the DNA and transform it, and made a culture that's maybe simple, profound, humble, but carries the human, part of the human richness. But we don't see it now because we look at McDonald's and
Yes.
So I am prejudiced a little bit against the material. It's okay, but most of it is not needed.
You told us the other day